Welcome to Two Souls Podcast, a podcast to shift, impact, empower, and disrupt your consciousness, ultimately allowing you to thrive in this human experience. Now here are your hosts, Amber Megenhauser and Angela Blaha. Welcome everyone to Two Souls Podcast. We are so thankful that you are here today. If you like and love what we do, please share us with the world. We have some very great and amazing deep messages that we really want everyone in the world to hear. So, hello, Amber.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. What do we get to speak about today?
Today I thought we would talk about how people view themselves. I feel like society as a whole, we are taught to view ourselves in a kind of a negative way. And so I thought it would be a great topic to discuss and realize, like, why do we not view ourselves as a goddess, as a queen, in that really, really high energy, instead of so many people today look at themselves just in that lower negative energy? And so I thought it would be a really great topic to discuss, just helping people realize like how powerful they are in their own self.
Yeah, this does seem to be a problem in our world. And in particular, I want to say with women. Of course, we're both women, and so this is the perspective or the viewpoint that we come from. And so, yeah, why don't we be powerful? Why aren't we, from the very day of our birth, or before actually inception, why aren't we taught to be like, to feel, to do powerful things? Like, I've never really understood that, and I've tried to do that with my own children, but then, they have to grow up and become people in society, and they still get to experience all the, humiliation and which I'm not saying those are, well, humiliation is not, there's no place for that ever. But keeping us in check, I want to say, that's not really even a proper thing to say. Keeping our humility about ourselves is very powerful, right? Like, when we know ourselves, I just had this experience over the last weekend, was we were introduced to some new people in the community, and she came up to me, one of the women came up to me, and she said, "What is it about you that there's something different about you? Like, there's a strength about you that I don't quite understand, or I don't quite know." And I said, "Well, it's probably because I know who I am. I may not know all the, deep, dark secrets of who I am, but I know who I am. Like, I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I know how to transform my weaknesses into a strength if I need to. I know how to control my mind. I know how to control my emotions. And and I like who I am." And her mouth dropped, her jaw dropped so open. It was like, "Oh my God, that's exactly what it is about you." And she's like, "But that makes you so different from the rest of the people." And she like pointed to the rest of the people there. And I was like, well, that's the power, right? That's when you feel and know your own power, you do stand out from the rest. So yes, we do need to.
Absolutely.
We need to be in our power.
So why do you think that, I guess I shouldn't say that's not really a great question, because we all know that the reason, particularly women, like you said, we never were equal to so many men, that I feel like women don't hold themselves accountable for their own power that they have within. And I know a lot of this is, stems from society and the way things have always been, but how can we help women to be so stable? Like I look at like where I was to where I am today, and I was so unstable before, and today I am stable. And recently, I probably shouldn't bring this up, but I'm gonna, because it says a lot about being stable in yourself, like
Mhm.
especially as a woman, and viewing yourself in such high regard that nothing can penetrate that energy. Well, and you know this as well. We both have had this experience recently, like within the last couple months, and I you and I both recently have had the sickness, I'll call it.
Yeah, yeah, good
And
code word.
it really opened up our eyes to what we could do with this, instead of letting society say, oh, you're going to be deathly sick in bed for
Mhm.
10 days. But we totally changed what they said it could do to us, and used it to our advantage instead of letting it pull us down that other road.
Yes, totally.
So I
And
feel
I think,
like,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I think
No, go ahead.
I think we compare ourselves. I think that's the problem, is we're constantly in comparison. And I don't really want to be equal to a man. I want to be my own power. I don't even want to be equal to any other woman out there. What I do
Yes.
want is to have full knowledge, full wisdom about who I am as a human being, as a soul being, as an emotional being, as a mental thinking being, and as a doing kind of a person, the person who takes action steps. When I come from, when I know that about who I am, I stop comparing myself. And I think that comparison, that competition that we are embedded with from in vitro, I think that is the main component in the way that I see things. That's the main component that stops us, like literally stops us from knowing who we are, because we're constantly looking outside of ourselves saying, oh, how do I compare to that? Or what's that person doing? And how do I want to be like that? None of us can be like that. If that person is fully in their power, we can't be that power. We have to be our own power.
Yeah.
And the way that I see that, that's exactly, like, we can give each other tools, right? Like through this, sickness. Like I said, I am not going to allow this thing to come into my body and take control of my body. No, that's not what's happening here. I directed, when I knew that I had it, I directed it and told it what it could do. There is a presence in this sickness. There is a consciousness in this sickness. That means that we can communicate with that consciousness. But if we're not standing in our
Yes.
power,
So,
if we don't really know who we are, we don't even understand that there's a consciousness, because we're not conscious.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you give some examples of things that you did? Obviously, telling it what to do and taking control of it instead of letting it control you is the biggest factor with this. Um, but what made you understand, I guess, how 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 to control it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like, we have this amazing group of women that we are friends with, and everybody kind of bounces ideas off of each other. And when this happened to you, you were the first in our group to, I guess, so that this happened with. And after that, it was like a domino effect with all of us. And I thought a lot about this, and with you being taking control of it and talking about your experience with it, I think really helped all the rest of us do the same thing. And we all had a little bit of different experience, where mine wasn't so much physical, but I noticed on like day 2 that it was really trying to control my emotions. And I was like, and I didn't realize it right at first, because like anything, we don't realize it when we're in it. And then all of a sudden it hit me, and I'm just like, what the heck is happening to my emotions? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
is this? And then I knew. I was just like, oh my gosh, it is trying to control my emotions. And I instantly was like, no, dang it, you are not allowed to have anything to do with my emotions. And it was like I turned off the light switch. It
Mm-hmm.
instantly shifted every bit of my energy and completely went away. And I never had a problem with the emotional part of it after that. Not one bit. It like totally, completely shifted out of my body. And that's, when we talk about being in control of yourself and saying what can and cannot be done to your body, you are telling it, hey, no, you know what? I'm stronger than you are, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not allowed to do this to me. This is my body. And it stopped. And I think people don't understand that they actually have that control over their self.
Yes, exactly. Like I talked to a lot of people, spiritual community people, outside of spiritual community people, and what I heard from, I want to call them sort of self-help gurus, or spiritual gurus, the people that I'd sort of like bounce things off of, or sort of look to for guidance every now and then. What I heard was this resounding story of it shuts down your God codes. It has an evil presence. It talks to you, and it tells you demonic kind of things that you don't normally think about. I mean, that was the overriding story that I heard. And I was like, but why are you allowing that to happen? Right? If we are really fully in our power and powerful beings, why are you allowing this virus to victimize you? And so, oh, I said the word. And so, when I noticed, that it was here, I was like, okay, here's what you can do. You can open me up to my God self even more. You can connect me to all that is even more, but you cannot shut down anything. You cannot control my mind, and you cannot control my emotions. You cannot control my body, but you can open up these things. And that's all that you can do here. And if you don't like that, then you can get out. Honestly, I had 3 days of a headache, and my neck hurt for a couple hours. I self-medicated like up the wazoo. And so, so I just said no. I think that plays into where we find ourselves victims in the world. It can be a victim to an illness. It can be a victim to a sickness. It can be a victim to someone else, right? And I think that when I said
Yeah.
no, and I said no, this is the things you can do in me, because I'm the one that's in power here. I'm the one that's in control. We're seeing that throughout our entire society, right? Throughout our entire world right now, we're
Yeah.
seeing that
Yep.
we're not saying no. Very few of us are saying no. Why is that? We're just going along with whatever the mandates are. No, there's nothing right about that. And I said on the second day, I said, I'm going to turn this damn thing into a miracle for humanity versus an atrocity to humanity. And this is how we're going to do it. And then I told the group that we hang out with, right? I said, look, we need to turn this into a
Yeah.
miracle. We literally need to turn this thing into a miracle. We need to transform it so that it helps humans awaken and become more powerful in who they are, versus, sickness and illness and dying. Like that, why? We have the power to do this.
And don't you really kind of feel like some of the reason why the rest of us got it? You know what I mean? I've thought a lot about this, because it's like we are all so stable in ourselves, and we have so many standards that we could change the outcome of it with a small group of people and really seeing like what it did for us instead of what it did to us.
Exactly. And I think once, why I seem to receive it first, I'm not really sure. But I think after I said, let's change the energy of this, let's change the vibration of this, then it almost like it gave, I don't know if this is really true, but it gave you guys permission to say, yes, let's do this. Let's change this.
Accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Because
kind of a
actually,
domino
all
effect,
of
but I
us but
think,
one got it.
yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that um I think that we sort of, there is some truth to people being in each other's field, right? Like there's some sort of, there's that connection.
Mhm.
And I feel like we could use this to our advantage as a human race. We can use our connection to each other, the all that is, to our advantage if we would be powerful in who we are, knowing who we are from every in and out of who we are. Not that's a destiny to arrive at. I think that we grow and we expand every moment of every single day if we choose to. But I also think that we can use this to change and evolutionize humanity. And I think that this is how we're going to do it. If we actually change our experience right now in the world to a miracle versus victimhood, like all of these crazy mandates would not even be in existence. And we have the power to do that.
Yes.
Just as those evil beings out there have the power to dominate and control us. Right? But we're not
Absolutely.
taught to be powerful. We're not taught to be that numinous self, the one that resides in the God self, in the energy of, knowing our power, knowing how to manifest instantaneously. I can tell you one thing that this thing did do for me is it opened up my third eye so much that, like, I thought I was good at seeing things before, but now it's like phenomenal.
I love that.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
in reality, it made you stand more in your power
Mm-hmm.
than it really helped you. And all of us, I guess, really big ways instead of holding
Mm-hmm.
us back.
Yeah,
But I think it
exactly.
is because we created those standards beforehand and
Yes.
instantly when we knew that we literally did the work before it kind of hit our bodies.
Yeah, we've been training for this for right? Like the numinous programs that we've been doing
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
the all the no, we have to set boundaries for who we are. Like all of those things that we've been training for over the last year have come into play now. And we dominated it.
Absolutely. For sure. That's what we
Yes.
do.
Heck yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so really, I really want our listeners out there to know, that this that training your mind, like that's where we started, was training that mind. Like you are the one that controls your thoughts. The thoughts do not control you. And we've talked about this over and over and over. But there is domination
Yes.
in you have to control those thoughts. You have to be able to control the mind because it's the mind literally that can create your reality because it's the starting point, I want to say, of, you know, living here in this third dimensional kind of reality. The second thing is you have to be in control of your emotions. You have to know them. And when you're feeling or when you're sensing something like that second day, I think is pretty much where I was like, okay, my emotions and my mind need to be super, super strong here because I will not be a victim to this consciousness, to this, to this sickness. I will not be a victim to it. I'm the one that's in control. And so I was very steadfast in controlling my thoughts and telling it what to do. Like there was no option for it to create chaos in my body. There was no option for it to take over my mind. There was no option for it to use my emotions against me. There was none of that. And so those two things, controlling your thoughts, controlling your emotions, and understanding your emotions, better yet, understanding your emotions, are the two first steps that you need to take. You need to take in order to
Absolutely.
become very powerful in who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Controlling the mind is probably the hardest thing that we do.
I completely agree. So one of my things that came in during all this too is I kind of had a double whammy with it, but it was a really, really great lesson that I learned from it. A couple days after I got it, my daughter got it. And instantly I was like, okay, like here's what we need to do. So I walked her through. I didn't. The very first day, she just kind of slept. But that second day is when I noticed it, and it was also my second day that I noticed my emotions. But that her second day, I noticed all of a sudden that, like I was starting to take on her portion of it, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why am I all of a sudden, like, why is this happening? And so you and I ended up talking that day, and it just hit me like a wave. And I was like, crap, I'm actually trying to take on hers instead of teaching her how to control it. So later that day, after I recognized that this is what was happening, I sat with her and I'm like, okay, I need you to really focus on all of this. And I walked her through, like, you need to take control of it. You need to tell it it can't harm your body. You need to tell it that it cannot take control of your emotions. Like we sat down for about an hour and just like walked through on how she needed to be strong in herself, which eliminated the crap I was taking on for her, because as parents, we can't help it. Sometimes we take on our kids' stuff. And I didn't realize it right away. But the minute I made her strong enough to control her own, I did not take hers on anymore, and all the rest of mine went away. And honestly, neither one of us have had any symptoms since like day 4, and we've been completely fine. And it has made me. It definitely made my awareness grow so much, and I thought I was like stable in myself before, but now I feel like it's like an empowering strength that you can control yourself and know that. And to be able to teach that to my 16-year-old daughter, like, and have her be not sick at all was amazing. And to watch her take control of that and watch me release what I was trying to take on for her, man, it was such an amazing experience. And it was amazing for her to like understand how strong she is in herself.
Yes. This is what we should be teaching. Right? Like all the leaders out there. All the leaders out there need to be teaching this kind of stuff. Like, how do we control this? How do we turn things into miracles? How do we like transform energies, frequencies, and vibrations to be our benefit versus, the atrocities of humanity? Yes, I love how you did that.
Yes. Yeah, it was a game changer, and it's amazing. So you know what? It doesn't matter what age we are, how old we are, how old our kids are. It's about teaching people to be so strong with themselves and understand themselves so well that you can literally create a world sickness and never ever take that on for yourself, because you're so strong that you control what is coming in instead of letting anything outside your body control you.
Yes, exactly. We've talked about programming before, and this is how you can change the programming, like, the fear-based programming. And fear, it's a contagion. Fear is a contagious disease all by itself. And when we can take that and transform it into power, like, that is what is feared by elitists, by people who totally dominate and control our perceptions, our belief systems, all of those kinds of things. Like, that is what they fear. They fear that we become powerful, that we can control our body,
Yeah.
that we can control our minds, that we can control our emotions and our actions, and we can respond in different ways than what they want to be programmed. Like, that's where we are in our evolution period right now. But the fact that we know how to do it, and that we're actually teaching people out here how to do it and how to be in control, like, that's what's feared by domination, control, and manipulating factors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. But yes,
We would like to thank. Go ahead.
Why aren't we constantly teaching how to be powerful beings? Why aren't we constantly teaching how to control the body, how to change the body, how to be in charge of the body, how to direct your cells to do what you want them to do? Why are we allowing ourselves to age, for example? Like, that's just a belief system, that we age and get old and that we die. Death is even a belief system, actually. Like, why are we in these mindsets, in these belief systems? We're entrenched in these belief systems. We're entangled in each other so much that we don't know who the hell we are. That's the real atrocity to humanity. That's the real,
Completely agree.
Gosh, I just get so fired up and worked up about that kind of thing. It's just like, oh, yes.
But I
So we
think
need to
that's
stop
what
doing
it's
that.
all about, though.
Yeah, it's where we are in our evolution.
It's absolutely.
Yeah, we need to stop
But we
being
would like
immature beings and
completely
think.
agree with you. But I think it's because, that's all that's been taught for eons.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been controlled for so long, and everyone has told us what we should believe, what we shouldn't believe, or be who other people want us to be, instead of being our own self, and realizing that, what, if I believe something, it's completely okay that you don't believe something. And when you are so strong with yourself, you literally can change the world. Look what we all just did over the past couple months. We literally transformed something into good that was supposed to be something horrible for the whole earth.
Right. Exactly. I love
And
this
it shows,
conversation.
being so stable in your. Me too. That being so stable in yourself, you literally can control everything inside of you. And
Yeah.
even if there's outside circumstances, you can control it, even though society says you can't.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, today was an amazing conversation. We weren't sure how this was going to go, but everybody needs to hear this. It's what's going on in the world today, and we need to change it somehow. So, you know what? Just by me being as strong as I am, it came through to my daughter, and I made her just as strong to be able to control something that she had no idea she could even do. And
Exactly.
that's what it's all about. You
Yep.
teach one person. Can you imagine if we all taught one person to
I
be that
know.
strong?
It
Man,
would be amazing.
we
Now,
would live in a
that
whole new
world,
world.
exactly, and that's the world I want to live in. right? Can you
Me
imagine all the
too. Yeah.
exploration, all the fun, all the happiness? Can you imagine the happiness?
Yeah. That's just it. Like everyone would be
Yes.
happy. Nobody would ever be mad. Nobody would be sad. Like that's actually the greatest thing about living in the world we live in is we are so strong with ourselves that
Hmm.
in a way the only emotion we have is happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was amazing conversation today. This has been awesome. And I think everybody out there can definitely use something that we have talked about today
Hmm.
in multiple different areas of your life. If
Right.
there's something you would like us to talk about, reach out to us. Or if there's more questions you have about this journey that's happened over the last couple months with multiple people in our group, reach out to Angela or I. We would love to talk and help you on this journey just as much as we have helped ourselves. So until next time, from our soul to yours, have a super fantastic day.